Hare Krishna everyone, welcome back to Shravanam Diaries podcast. I'm your host Sulalita Devidasi and we're continuing to read The Science of Self-Realization by His Divine Grace Srila A.C. Bhakti-Vedanta Swami Prabhupada. Jai Srila Prabhupada, and this is chapter 1, Learning the Science of the Self, and this section is called Reincarnation and Beyond. So, Srila Prabhupada. Yes, religion means learning how to obey the Supreme Controller. So, you may be Christian and I may be Hindu. It doesn't matter. We must both accept that there is a Supreme Controller. Everyone has to accept that. That is real religion. Not this, in quotes, we believe animals have no soul. That is not religion. That is most unscientific. Religion means scientific understanding of the Supreme Controller. That's a nice definition. To understand the Supreme Controller and obey Him, that's all. In a state, the good citizen is he who understands the government and obeys the laws of the government, and the bad citizen is one who doesn't care for the government. So, if you become a bad citizen by ignoring God's government, then you are irreligious. And if you are a good citizen, then you are religious. Mike Robinson. I see. Can you tell me what you believe to be the meaning of life? Why do we exist in the first place? Srila Prabhupada. The meaning of life is to enjoy. Simple. Yeah? Simple definition of Srila Prabhupada. The meaning of life is to enjoy. But now you are on a false platform of life, and therefore you are suffering instead of enjoying. Everywhere we see the struggle for existence. Everyone is struggling, but what is their enjoyment in the end? They are simply suffering and dying. Therefore, although life means enjoyment, at the present moment your life is not enjoyment. But if you come to the real spiritual platform of life, then you'll enjoy. Mike Robinson. Can you explain to me finally some of the stages you go through in spiritual life? What are the spiritual stages a new devotee of Krishna goes through? Srila Prabhupada. The first stage is that you are inquisitive. So, you say, what is this? What is this Krishna consciousness movement? Let me study it. Let me study it. This is called Shraddha, or faith. This is the beginning. So if you are serious, you mix with those who are cultivating this knowledge. You try to understand how they are feeling, then you'll feel. Why not become one of them? And when you become one of them, then all your misgivings soon go away. You become more faithful, and then you get a real taste for Krishna consciousness. Why aren't these boys going to see the cinema? Why don't they eat meat or go to the nightclub? Because their taste has changed. They hate all these things now. In this way you make progress. First, faith. Then association with devotees. Then removal of all misgivings. Then firm faith. Then taste. Then God realization, and then love of God, the perfection. that is first-class religion. Not some ritualistic ceremony of I believe, you believe. That is not religion. That is cheating. That is cheating. Real religion means to develop your love for God. That is the perfection of religion. Mike Robinson, thank you very much for talking with me. It's been a pleasure talking to you. Srila Prabhupada, Hare Krishna. Jai. Next section is called Truth and Beauty. Introduction. Srila Prabhupada first published this essay in India, in the old tabloid version of his then fortnightly magazine Back to Godhead, November 20, 1958. It contains the unforgettable story of liquid beauty, in which Srila Prabhupada dramatically exposes the underlying principle of human sexuality. This illuminating exposition on the nature of truth and beauty is timeless and startlingly relevant for those in search of the inner self. Now, the article. There may sometimes be arguments about whether truth and beauty are compatible terms. One would willingly agree to express the truth, one might say, but since truth is not always beautiful, indeed it is frequently rather startling and unpleasant, how is one to express truth and beauty at the same time? In reply, we may inform all concerned that truth and beauty are compatible terms. Indeed, we may emphatically assert that the actual truth, which is absolute, is always beautiful. The truth is so beautiful that it attracts everyone, including the truth itself. Truth is so beautiful that many sages, saints, and devotees have left everything for the sake of truth. Mahatma Gandhi, an idol of the modern world, dedicated his life to experimenting with truth, and all his activities were aimed toward truth only. Why only Mahatma Gandhi? Every one of us has the urge to search for truth alone, for the truth is not only beautiful, but also all-powerful, all-resourceful, all-famous, all-renounced, and all-knowledgeable. Unfortunately, people have no information of the actual truth. Indeed, 99.9% of men in all walks of life are pursuing untruth only, in the name of truth. We are actually attracted by the beauty of truth, but since time immemorial we have been habituated to love of untruth appearing like truth. Therefore, to the mundaner, in quotes, truth and beauty are incompatible terms. The mundane truth and beauty may be explained as follows. Once a man who was very powerful and strongly built, but whose character was very doubtful, fell in love with a beautiful girl. The girl was not only beautiful in appearance, but also saintly in character, and as such she did not like the man's advances. The man, however, was insistent because of his lustful desires, and therefore the girl requested him to wait only 7 days, and she set a time after that when he could meet her. The man agreed, and with high expectations, he began waiting for the appointed time. The saintly girl, however, in order to manifest the real beauty of absolute truth, adopted a method very instructive. She took very strong doses of laxatives and purgatives, and for 7 days she continuously passed loose stool and vomited all that she ate. Moreover, she stored all those loose stool and vomit in suitable pots. As a result of the purgatives, the so-called beautiful girl became lean and thin, like a skeleton. Her complexion turned blackish, and her beautiful eyes sank into the sockets of her skull. Thus, at the appointed hour, she waited anxiously to receive the eager man. The man appeared on the scene, well-dressed and well-behaved, and asked the ugly girl he found waiting there about the beautiful girl he was to meet. The man could not recognize the girl he saw as the same beautiful girl for whom he was asking. Indeed, although she repeatedly asserted her identity because of her pitiable condition, he was unable to recognize her. At last, the girl told the powerful man that she had separated the ingredients of her beauty and stored them in pots. She also told him that he could enjoy those juices of beauty. When the mundane poetic man asked to see these juices of beauty, he was directed to the store of loose stool and liquid vomit, which were emanating an unbearably bad smell. Thus, the whole story of the beauty liquid was disclosed to him. Finally, by the grace of the saintly girl, this man of low character was able to distinguish between the shadow and the substance, and thus he came to his senses. This man's position was similar to the position of every one of us who is attracted by false material beauty. The girl mentioned above had a beautifully developed material body in accordance with the desires of her mind, but in fact she was apart from that temporary material body and mind. She was, in fact, a spiritual spark, and so also was the lover who was attracted by her false skin. Mundane intellectuals and aesthetics, however, are deluded by the outward beauty and attraction of the relative truth, and are unaware of the spiritual spark, which is both truth and beauty at the same time. The spiritual spark is so beautiful that when it leaves the so-called beautiful body, which is in fact is full of stool and vomit, no one wants to touch that body, even if it is decorated with a costly costume. We are all pursuing a false relative truth, which is incompatible with real beauty. The actual truth, however, is permanently beautiful, retaining the same standard of beauty for innumerable years. That spiritual spark is indestructible. The beauty of the outer skin can be destroyed in only a few hours, merely by a dose of a strong purgative. But the beauty of truth is indestructible and always the same. Unfortunately, mundane artists and intellectuals are ignorant of this beautiful spark of spirit. They are also ignorant of the whole fire, which is the source of these spiritual sparks. And they are ignorant of the relationships between the sparks and the fire, which take the form of transcendental pastimes. When those pastimes are displayed here by the grace of the Almighty, foolish people who cannot see beyond their senses confuse those pastimes of truth and beauty with the manifestations of loose stool and vomit described above. Thus, in despair, they ask how truth and beauty can be accommodated at the same time. Mundaners do not know that the whole spiritual entity is the beautiful person who attracts everything. They are unaware that he is the prime substance, the prime source, and fountainhead of everything that be. The infinitesimal spiritual sparks, being parts and parcels of that whole spirit, are qualitatively the same in beauty and eternity. The only difference is that the whole is eternally the whole, and the parts are eternally the parts. Both of them, however, are the ultimate truth, ultimate beauty, ultimate knowledge, ultimate energy, ultimate renunciation, and ultimate opulence. Although written by the greatest mundane poet or intellectual, any literature which does not describe the ultimate truth and beauty is but a store of loose stool and vomit of the relative truth. Real literature is that which describes the ultimate truth and beauty of the Absolute. Hare Krishna. We're going to stop here for today. We have completed reading this article. Tomorrow we will read the next article in this chapter entitled The Art of Dying. Very interesting. So thank you so much for tuning in today. The link to this book is in the description. Please check out our website shravanamdiaries.com, and we shall see you tomorrow. Hare Krishna.